That's what
One day.
happens. That's what happens when you get sponsors. You know, but
Yeah, that is all you're doing though, isn't it? It's just selling ad space.
that's all it is. That's all it is. And I think it's funny, like the whole ad thing. Like I've had people say to me before, "Why do you advertise? Like, why do you spend money? Like, why do you spend money at all? Like on Google Ads to promote your YouTube videos, or to do anything else, or to advertise your stream?" Um, like, and anywhere you go, I don't want to say the world, but a lot of places, like in a company, after payroll, marketing and advertising is usually like the second biggest line item that they expense for a company. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
advertising is like is hundreds of billions of dollars, like globally. You know, like Google, one of the biggest companies in the world, makes almost all of its money from advertising. So like I can't take people seriously when they're like, why are you spending money advertising? Just do it organically. Well, fuck you, because that's not how this shit works. That's not, it is
Oh yeah,
not how
not
it
at
is
all.
not how this works. It's not how this
Just
works.
the amount of fucking studying that goes behind it as well.
I know.
Like
And
when people turn around to me and they're like, "But what do you actually do?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't," because I'm like, "All right, I just work on social media." And they're like, "Yeah, but what do you do?" And I'm like, "Analytical studies." I'm
right,
like, "What does that mean?" Well, I go into it and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know what that means." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I don't tell you.
right,
It's just why I don't say it." But there's so much behind it,
yep,
and people really don't see that side of it. But it's absolutely crazy.
right. And in fact, I had someone the other day who was, was telling them that, I'm working with you, Lilith, about on social media. Like, why do you need
Mhm.
somebody to help you do that? Like, can't you just do it? I'm like, because there's so much. Like, if I want to do it right, and if I want to do it right,
Yeah,
I don't have the time or the knowledge to devote to learning what I need to do to be successful in a short period. It's just
yeah.
it's easier to work with somebody that knows what they're doing with it. And yeah, I'll learn along the way, sure, but like for me to try to make this be
Wait,
as
stop.
what
Mhm.
Your voice is screwing up on stream.
on stream.
Yeah, we all are.
Oh yeah, very robotic.
Really?
Yeah,
On stream?
There you
yeah.
go, it just fixed itself. That was weird.
Oh, and now it's back to normal.
That's weird. Um,
That was really strange.
that is strange. There were no issues here on my end. That's really weird. My network performance looks good.
Why does my microphone on Twitch sound like I'm in a big empty room?
It sounds like that, and it sounded like that ever since I've been talking to you today.
That's it.
Uh huh.
That's really
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, that is weird. Um, in order to like be successful at this, it is streaming content creation, which is like insanely oversaturated. Um, y- you have to do everything you can to try to get an advantage over the next person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like when I talk about branding and marketing and networking and all that stuff, like it's not just me saying that because it sounds good. It's because that's what you have to do. And the part that I think overwhelms a lot of people is if you want this done as quickly as you can, or if you are going to make it, because you could do all the right things and still never make it, you have to do it all at the same time, and that is a lot of fucking work. It is just so much work. So like, and I don't care if you had social media accounts before you started streaming. You need a different one. You need one that is specific to your stream, your brand that you're developing on stream. So like, and I started doing this in last October. So I created, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And so I'm trying to grow them and all of this and YouTube at the same time. That is literally what you need to do to have your best chance of success. And despite the work that's going in there, despite all the work that Lilith is doing, all the advertising, having hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube and streaming consistently and trying to have a good looking stream, it's still hard to break out. It's still hard to get noticed sometimes. And
Yeah.
and for whatever I hope everybody takes away is that just don't stop. If you believe, that it is going to happen, then just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. That's all you can do, and try to take every little opportunity you can to find a way to put yourself in a position to stand out from the crowd. You know what I mean? That's all that you can do. There comes a point where you just have to keep pushing, and eventually, you make it. But honestly, sometimes you might not. No matter how good or how hard you work, sometimes it just doesn't always work out. But you have to decide for yourself when that point is. So I know that I can keep doing this forever. So because I don't need this to be a full-time career. So I don't have that stress. There's a lot of people, I think they put that stress on themselves. Like my streaming career, I want to do streaming full time. I want to blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to quit my job to motivate myself. Don't fucking do that. Don't quit your job before you realize you can financially support yourself.
Mistake.
Yep.
Huge mistake.